Yes. And he gave me dismissal notice too when I tell you Iceberg and Goldberg is the same man. Anyway, I take a short course on healthcare and the agency put me in a nursing home in Long Island. I got to take 3 buses to get to work. I on the day shift and your partner Noel is on the night shift.
Who Noel?
Noel, man. Zigzag stitches. You can't remember Noel? Noel, the real estate man who fly into Tempe?
Oh, that's the Noel, the man who beat you.
All right, same Noel. He's a good man, you know. He left the real estate business. He driving taxi in the day and he working at the nursing home in the night.
You was right when you tell the man that real estate and taxi driving is the same thing. I don't trust you though. That man too violent, he could have killed both of we in this house.
He all right. He's very good friends now. We're working on the same case. Mr. Johnson.
Same case? You sound like you're working in a law firm.
The amount of liars going in and out of that nursing home, making and remaking wills, we right to call them patient cases. With Mr. Johnson, almost every day I meet a new liar.
What wrong with Johnson? Is he a nutcase that you got to meet with liar every day?
By Absalom, Mr. Johnson is like the weather. One day, calm as a breeze. And the next, he's dangerous as a tornado. Generally, he's like a thunderstorm shooting lightning and thunder.
I thought you were looking after a sick man at the power station.
Mr. Johnson's so dangerous. Today he cracked the doctor over his head with a bat, man.
That man is a nutcase. What did he have to do?
He can't do anything. Mr. Johnson is a millionaire. He does make regular donations to the nursing home.
Crazy poor people does end up in the madhouse, but crazy rich people does go to the nursing home.
He ain't crazy. He just wants to do everything his own way. He don't care who you is. It could be son, daughter, doctor, or liar. He got the money and you got to do what he say. He can't work, but he got the power.
He got to have a lot of power to crack a doctor with a bedpan.
One day I had to push he in the wheelchair to take it to the boardroom. He wanted to make up a new will. In the elevator with me was the liar, the doctor, and the daughter. Somebody fart and I look at Johnson. Everybody look at Johnson. Then he asked me, Mr. Ford, why did you fart? I said, Mr. Johnson, I didn't fart. He said, yes, that was a spicy fart, and you eat spicy foods. I had to defend myself. I said, Mr. Johnson, that is a prejudiced comment against a caregiver.
That man is terrible. He can discriminate by the smell of a fart.
Since that day, he ain't forgive me. Everybody think it's he who fart, but he determined it was me. See, he making my life miserable. He threw everything in the room through the window. Cup, plate, bedpan, pillow, everything. By the time I walk and pick up a set, it's bam, another set through the window. He got me on my foot all the time. When he want to pee, by the time I walk to pick up the bedpan, he done pee up his pants. Now I got to struggle to change his pants, and he's not a small man. Mr. Johnson at 82 weigh more than 250 pounds. The only time I get a little peace is when he take a nap.
The man is too active. They should sedate him with drugs.
He got more than drugs. He just drink wine by the bottle.
He was drinking a nursing home.
Yes, anything he want, they got to give him. No doctor there could stop him. He said wine is good for you, so his children send in more wine by the case. The closet got more wine than clothes.
So you don't take a drink with him?
I used to take a glass with him, but not since that farting incident. I ain't taking chances. I got to be alert. Sometimes when he want to call me, he just throw an empty bottle at me.
I could imagine you bobbing and weaving from wine bottle and bedpan. Taxi driver Noel getting the same problem with you?
Noel got it a little worse. He just take a longer time to find the bedpan outside. Noel got a spare bedpan tied around his neck like a chain.
I can't understand how you, 2 two big men like you and taxi driver Noel could take such an abuse like school boys. Why you don't tell the agency?
I don't tell the agency, but they can't change it because Johnson requests that we look after him.
But if you're having problems with he, why he want you?
You don't know Johnson, Absalom. That man want to torture me. He want to see how much I could bear before I leave the job. He know that if I leave, I wouldn't get a reference and my career in the health field would be dead as a doornail. He want to see how much punishment I could take. We playing a cat and mouse game.
When push come to shove, I hope you make the right decision.
I done got a bad report from pushing and shoving, Mr. Johnson. The man wheelchair got a powerful engine. In the middle of a ramp, he shut off the engine, applied the brake, and had me pushing he up that ramp.
The man take you for a mule. He think you is a rickshawala?
No rickshawala could push that man up that ramp. I thought my heart and lungs will burst. When I reached the room, I collapsed on the chair and passed out.
Wait, you fall asleep with that lunatic around?
Sleep is a blackout I get from all the pushing.
The man belong in a man house, not in a nursing home.
That ain't all. He called the agency and tell them I sleeping. The agency tell he to throw some water on my face.
Yes, water will shock you back into consciousness.
Well, what he threw on me wasn't water, Absalom. The man emptied the bedpan on my head.
Mustafa, people just get locked up if you abuse a dog like that. You got to fight this man somehow.
How could a healthcare worker fight an 82-year-old patient in a wheelchair? You know how many times you know how many times I want to smash his head with a wine bottle? But I'm restraining myself.
Look. What about this guy, Violent Noel? He restraining himself too? What about the bad man attitude that he has?
You don't know how much Noel wants to knock you out too. But we know that any time we raise the hand, we lose the battle.
How do you plan to stop him? God to intervene?
I plan to take the agency to court. My case is that they're exposing me to a dangerous and hazardous environment. They're exposing the zookeeper to undue risks.
You're working in a nursing home, not a zoo?
Even a lion won't provoke a zookeeper the way that man provoking me. I keep in a journal. I ain't missing out a minute, so they can't claim that I neglecting duties by sleeping on the job. Listen to what I write today. This is serious. 7 a.m. Mr. Johnson sleeping. 7:05. Mr. Johnson farts while sleeping. 7:08. Mr. Johnson farted again.
Wait, you're going to record everything you do?
Everything, but I got to be careful he don't find out what I'm doing. 3 p.m. Mr. Johnson attends meeting with son, lawyer, and doctor. 3:20. Mr. Johnson demands bedpan. 3:21. Mr. Johnson slammed the bedpan on the doctor's head. 3:22. Mr. Johnson tried to strangle son.
Wait, he turned on your own son?
He would assault his own mother. 3:23. Lawyer tried to intervene. Mr. Johnson run wheelchair over lawyer's foot. 3:27. Doctor cracks wine bottle over Mr. Johnson's head. 3:29. Doctor say Mr. Johnson is out cold but resting like a baby. 3:30. Doctor attended to lawyer's foot and son's neck.
You see how to control it? The doctor had the cure all the time. If you don't want to use an injection to sedate a madman, a bottle on the head is just as effective.
I hear his son tell Elijah that now is the time to send for some specialist doctor named Kevorkian. I hope that Kevorkian doctor come with a helmet. When Johnson wake up, he would start using wine bottles like grenades.
Mustafa, you know who Kevorkian is?
Must be some old people doctor or a gerontologist. I hope he could calm me down. I'm tired of this mental torture.
Mustafa, Kevorkian is the doctor who does help people commit suicide.
What? Do you want to bring a man to help kill Mr. Johnson? How you could do that? Mr. Johnson don't want to die.
Well, it looked like if Johnson lived, you, Noel, the doctor, the lion, everybody around me got to die. If you live, Johnson died.
Don't call death on Mr. Johnson, Absalom. What would happen to me if he died?
What would happen to you? You wouldn't get your freedom? You said the man tormenting you and torturing you. You wouldn't like to be relieved of all his suffering?
Relieved, Absalom? Relieved? If Johnson dead, I out of a job. Johnson is my bread and butter. My meal ticket. If he dead, the agency would fire me. I ain't got a case with Johnson dead. Mr. Johnson got to live until I make some money to leave this job.
So where are you going so suddenly? You're working the night shift?
No, I'm going to the store to buy a helmet. I intend to protect myself better while I'm protecting Mr. Johnson from Kevorkian. Weekend.